solo adventure awaits you.
This is Solo Travel Talk. Your solo travel advisor is Astrid Clements.
This is part 2 of a deep dive into Astrid's favorite websites and how to use them to their fullest, so you can plan an amazing solo travel adventure. My name is Catherine O'Brien. I'm producer of Solo Travel Talk. Last week, Astrid gave you all the ins and outs of some of her favorite tools for travel planning. We continue this week, including some sites we're thinking you may not yet heard of. Of course, along the way, you're going to hear a lot of tips that Astrid has gathered over her solo travels. If you hear a site that sounds interesting to you, we'll have a convenient link in the show notes. Let's get to it. Here's Astrid.
The fourth site that I go to, and like I said, I do a lot of research. Research is key to having a real successful trip. Because the decisions you make with your hotel, with your flights, what to do, I mean, that's all key important to kind of know that you've made some good decisions beginning your trip. You don't have that stress, because stress is one of the number one travel killers. Okay, TripAdvisor, big daddy of all travel websites. TripAdvisor is a great site. It's an American travel website company that is really focused on travel-related reviews by unbiased travelers for their content. So these travel reviews, I mean, there's a reason why that this is so popular. I mean, they have had supposedly north of 385 million reviews that have been posted on this website since they've begun. So people read them, they use them to make decisions, and people do like to give their feedback on their experiences. So this particular internet portal is really, really a must when you're deciding where you want to stay, what you want to do, because you can read all kinds of reviews. Now, the more you use it, you'll kind of get a feel for a review that you think is just kind of wacky, that you don't, you just don't see eye to eye with the reviewer. But if you see the same kind of thing, well, this hotel is real nice, but the upholstery is worn out over and over, you just want to move on. So I love this. I love the site. It's great. How it's organized is basically it also searches gobs of sites. Over 200 sites it searches to bring information. It'll give you information on hotels and prices. And a lot of times it'll send you to another site. But it does some of the initial catch your information. It'll have the reviews on there, etc. Also flights, restaurants, things to do, and what they call the best of that year, like best of 2016. People who have reviewed things and these hotels stand out, or this stands out. So that's very good. You want to look at that, especially if you're keying in on a particular hotel or whatever. If it's in there, that's even a stronger recommendation that's a good place. Also, they give you real good information about deals. What are the top destinations now that travelers are reviewing and going to in the United States and the world? That's real good information, because you kind of know where it's got the place that's got something that's going on. Here again, trip ideas, where to go. Also, they have a feature, road trips, which road trips are real popular now. Even when people travel overseas, they like to rent a car and get in and use, the navigation functions now and just go down the back roads. I know my sister and her husband, they went to France a couple of years ago, and she asked me all the things she needed to do because they really wanted to dig deep, and I gave her a long list. And so she said, well, we're going to rent a car and see how that works. When she came back, she said, oh, Astrid, it was fabulous. With the navigation, we never got lost. anywhere, a restaurant that we wanted to go to, some place out in the countryside. They had a fabulous trip. So road trips, they even give you, suggestions about road trips, etc. One of the features that I really, really like, and this goes back to best of 2016, they have every year what they call the Traveler's Choice Award winners. And they will tag certain restaurants, beaches, landmarks, museums, islands, attractions, the ones that have been the traveler's choices. And this is great. I mean, this really helps you kind of figure out, well, is this important for me to do or not do? One of the Traveler's Choice Award winners categories is destinations on the rise. So I had to click on that. I mean, because, even though I've traveled 35 years and really have a lot of experience and a lot to share, I'm always looking at what's new and what's going on and et cetera. And these destinations on the rise, I wanted to click on them to see how many of these destinations that I had been to. So they listed 10, and I had only been to 4. Oh. And I was really upset.
Like, I've got some more traveling to do here.
But the ones that they listed were, number 1 is Tulum, Mexico. I have been there. It's beautiful, too. If you're interested in the Mayan culture and a lot of early Mexican culture, it's fabulous there. It will really open your eyes. Then there's Cartagena, Colombia, which I haven't been there. Portugal. I've been to Lisbon, but not Porto. Gatlinburg, I've been there a couple of times, and lots of fun. Moscow, I've been to Moscow, love it. Brighton, UK, I've been there. Then the last 4, New Delhi, India. Banff, Alberta, Canada. Lima, Peru. And a place I'd never heard of is Foz do Iguaçu, Brazil. It sounds like a beach, but it is like destination on the rise. So, here you get from TripAdvisor, from people who are traveling, their traveler's choice, great information. With TripAdvisor, and let's talk about the hotels in London and how the prices are the same or whatever. I mean, after I read all the reviews, etc., and keying in on the hotels that I like and their prices. First of all, same filters basically as Kayak. One thing that they have in there that is a little different is they will give a popularity rating as well as traveler's risk rating. That's another little filter. But basically, they send you to the different hotel sites with, the different features. Like in London, the best prices that I was getting through TripAdvisor was coming through Booking.com. And one of the things I like about Booking.com is they do a lot of quotes with free cancellation, or if you pay up front for everything, it is cheaper. Or they will also sometimes give you an option of not paying anything. You just make the reservation. Some of the sites you have to pay for one night, and then you pay the balance when you get there. And there are different price points in that. I mean, if you pay up front totally, right then, the whole thing, it's cheaper. But if they give you those other options, which some people, they have to have those options. So it's good to have that. But just moving right along to give you an idea, the Royal Horse Guard Hotel, which I was looking at, that I was keying in on, had great reviews. So that made me think, well, my initial impression from what I read and saw, that it was even better than, I thought. It was confirmed by people who had stayed there. Plus, in this particular case, Kayak's price was cheaper than what I was seeing coming through hotels or Booking.com through TripAdvisor, which was $268. So I made that note. Kayak is still the best. It also showed me 2 other hotels that I didn't see on Kayak that were very interesting. One was called the Baglioni Hotel, which was an Italian type of hotel. Beautiful. It ranked as one of the best values in London for the quality. It was near Kensington Palace, and that area is gorgeous in London. It was very elegant, great Italian restaurant, spa. And I don't have to have a spa all the time, but every now and then, if I'm staying somewhere a long time, a spa can be something I would be interested in. Then they also quoted, and that one was $330 a night, which was, here again, more than I wanted to spend, but I kept it on my list because it looked beautiful. And then we had the Sofitel St. James, which I must say, I love the brand Sofitel. It's a French hotel brand with Accor hotels, and the French really have a special way about their hospitality that I particularly like. So when I see a good Sofitel hotel, I always look at it. So, but that one was a little bit on the high side. That was $384 a night, but I still put it in my maybes. So here again, it showed me that Kayak still was much cheaper. Flight information, they have the same kind of thing, same filters, layover time, type of bed, etc. But one thing they give that you don't see in the other ones is called a flight score. And that's important because it basically scores the comfort level of this flight experience, from the airport you have to go through, whether they have a lie flat bed, the food, the layover time, so the aircraft, everything. So this can kind of help you if you're not quite sure whether you want to go this airline or this airline. The price is about the same. Check that flight score because that'll help. With TripAdvisor, it like I said, it's the big daddy of all. So you have to go to that one because you really see what other people say, and that's important.
My perception about TripAdvisor is that not only do they touch on the biggies, like the main destinations in a city, but you also, like the road trips you were just mentioning a moment ago, that you get things that are a little bit maybe offbeat or that you wouldn't have thought about. And I always seem to notice that there's some locals who contribute what you should see when you come to visit my town, those kinds of local perspectives.
Oh, yeah. TripAdvisor is just, it's a fabulous travel information source. I mean, I can't recommend it enough. But to kind of wrap up why I like it, why it's good for the solo traveler, basically it's the reviews. And there's lots of reviews. There's lots of photos. People like to show their photos. And you have also a function where you can be interactive. Somebody can say, well, where's the best restaurant, or did you like blah, blah, blah. And there's conversations that start. And that's also, I think, very valuable. Why I use it, because it helps me with price comparisons. Now, maybe there's so much information on it can wear you down, and some of the, maybe they should organize it a little bit more, but I don't know how you can do that and still keep it a real good open forum, and it is excellent. As far as the solo travelers, the reviews are, invaluable, because it'll give you red flags. And whether this is really a solo-friendly place or, because a lot of them say this is great for families. I didn't like this because or whatever. So it's very good for the solo traveler. The next 2 sites, or actually 3, that I go to that 2 of them, I've just started using them. I found some value in them. So I want to talk a little bit about them. First is a site called Hipmunk.com. Now, that sounds kind of like chipmunk or some kind of animal. I think they even have their little logo thing as a
little chipmunk on the go.
But It's a good site, and you spell it HIPMUNK.com. But it is a boutique business first class travel agency, which is online. I like it because the prices that I have gotten on hotels, when I here recently went to Venice, I got a fabulous price on a fabulous hotel through Hipmunk. Better than Kayak, better than TripAdvisor, better than Booking.com, anything. So, and everything worked great. Now, I did have to pay completely up front, but, I had my travel insurance. So I wasn't worried that if something would happen, I would lose the money, etc. But it's great for prices as well on flights. The flights, I looked at this London flight that I told you about. Their business class flight with the shortest time is $3,558, which is basically $150 savings. And that's not a lot, but it's enough to save money, and why not save money? Okay, another thing that is so good about this HIP site is it has lots of travel deals. I mean, they are like posting them all the time, like weekend flight deals to U.S. cities, business class flight deals all over the world. Plus, you can talk to an agent. If you really wanted to say, okay, I want to go to, let's say, Hanoi, and I want to go business class, and I only want to spend $1,500 on the ticket. Can you make it happen? You can call and talk to them.
Wow.
So I think that's really good. I've never done that, and I think they can do it, I'm sure, with hotels too. But they are really, they seem to be executing quite well with the business and the first class traveler, trying to get them affordable, really nice deals. They have information about rate hikes and discounts on empty flights. For flights, say, going to Mumbai from, Washington, D.C. If the plane is half full business class, I mean, you'll start seeing rate discounts at the very end. There are things. So if you're hooked up to them, you'll get these rates. Also, they have a great blog on their site. And I mean, it has some super information. There are a couple of topics are, best travel apps. I'm always reading that. How to save money on your next trip. One really interesting one, and I read this one, and I didn't even know about it. I kind of had heard something about it, but I hadn't paid attention. But the blog post was fly San Francisco to Tokyo under 5 hours with the Boom supersonic jet. So I wanted to read about that. I thought I heard something, but is it already ready to go? That, they're bringing back a new and better Concorde. So I clicked on this blog post, and it said that, first of all, you save almost 5 hours on this supersonic jet. It was going to cost $6,500, which is a little on the high side, but to go in a supersonic jet, I would probably spring for it.
It's like a bucket list kind of trip.
Absolutely. And the seating configuration is 1-to-1, so everybody has a window seat. It flies at 60,000 feet, and it goes Mach speed of 1,450 miles per hour. Richard Branson, who has Virgin Airways, he's behind the team, and they're going to test it. The first one next year, and hopefully bring it online or ready to be used 6 years, 2023. So I thought that was very interesting blog post, and I read it. So this Hipmunk not only gives you information about prices, what deals are going on, you can try to get them to get you a real bare minimum deal, but they have a great blog that gives you some really cool information. What I like about it, first of all, the prices are great, and some of really the lowest prices. It focuses on affordable luxury travel. Luxury travel, trying to get you the best deal, and that's what Astrid Solo Travel Advisor is all about. It has great or an interesting blog and the ability for you to talk to an agent and do some deal negotiation with price targets. I think that's a plus. I haven't used it, but I think that's great for a solo traveler. So this gives you a lot of different options for affordable luxury, and I like it, and I'm starting to use it. Okay, the last two sites. First of all, the second to last one is what's called Momondo, and this is I love this site. In fact, I have this site connected to my website, but I love this site. It was developed by a young Danish gentleman. His mission is to open the world, and it is just cool, upbeat, very, very modern in just feel, lots of good visuals, very colorful. It gets you excited when you're on this site. I mean, you really start getting the vibe of a place. He has a wonderful way of building, I guess, interest in going somewhere. It's very well organized. He's very math oriented. He loves travel, very math oriented. I read about him, but he sounds like a real cool Danish person. Hopefully one day I might run into him because I think he's got something good going on. But it's a site very well organized. You can click on a place. It gives you wonderful introductory information, unusual facts about the place, what the weather is like at different times of the year, some demographics, currency information, time difference, and he's got a strong focus on cost, what things cost, whether it's a hotel, flights, restaurants, transportation, even clothing. I mean, you can get a great sense on what this trip will cost you to go there. And, he's organized all the different parts of it: flights, hotels, car, trip finders, inspiration. An example, basically talking when he's comparing the flights, he'll give you all the options, but then in the end, he bottom lines it, or this site bottom lines it: cheapest, quickest, and best. So, of course, I looked at the London flight. The best flight was $3,559, cheaper than kayak. I mean, and he's really always getting some really, really good prices. So I like him very much because I'm a big, as I said, budgeter. Then I looked at the hotels. My hotel that I was been keying on, Royal Horse Guards, $182 a night versus the kayak at $211. So, that's basically a $30 savings per night. There's something really special about this site, I think. Then he's got a great section called Trip Finders, and he organizes it in terms of most popular, cheapest, warmest, fancy, cultural, romantic. What he's kind of done with this site is focused on mood. What are you in the mood to do? Do you want to go and be all fancy and do fancy things? Or do you just want to spa out? Or, you want to go somewhere warm? So like I said, he has a strong emphasis on the mood of a destination. And this really is a new travel trend. It's not just about sightseeing. What are you in the mood for, or what do you need in terms of a trip? He also has a section on beaches, nature, sports, shopping, nightlife. And not only does he give you these great ideas about beaches, etc., but every time he gives you the cost. ballpark cost, restaurants, nightlife, everything. It's just great. So it really does help you determine whether you can afford it and how much you'll spend or what you can kind of count on spending. Also, he has information on the cheapest months to travel and where to go when it's the cheapest months and the best deals. I mean, he, like Hipmunk, he is into where the deals are right now. Another thing he has is categories. One of his categories I like very much is called Unique Things to Do. So I clicked on that for London and gave me a couple of things. First of all, a Cuban cigar walk. Now, most women won't be interested in that, but that is really, how would you know that there's a Cuban cigar walk in London? But he's that site, they gear in on what are the cool things happening and being started in different areas, where it's happening, okay? And then fancy, I clicked on fancy because I'm always kind of wanting to do fancy. The Wolseley, which I have been there for breakfast, it's a fabulous restaurant, just if you want experience, quintessential English atmosphere and just making the scene, eating, especially at breakfast, the Wolseley. Seville Row, super place to shop, especially for men. I mean, it was the birthplace of bespoke clothing. And also the Sir John Soane Museum, which I've been there, and it's pretty weird and pretty interesting. And so these are things. So he comes up with or has sections on what's really interesting to do. Okay, so what I like about this site, it's cool, it's really hip, and it's easy to use with a lot of really good interesting travel information. And here again, like I said, what it costs, because you can make up all these grand things, but if after a while it's too much money, you're gonna have to weed some things out. But this will help you prioritize where you want to spend your money. Why use it? Well, I love it, and I really go to it last. It sounds funny, maybe I should go to it one of the first, but I go to it last because if these other traditional sites haven't hit on some of the really good stuff or whatever, this will help me perfect the trip even more. Plus, I found it gives fabulous prices and some of the best prices. So before I start booking anything, this is the last place I go to. And again, it helps me develop that pre-trip itinerary, what I really want to do, okay? Well, I think it's very cutting edge. I think a lot of young travelers will really gravitate towards it. But that doesn't mean, the older travelers like me shouldn't, because let me tell you, it gives you some really fun things to do. This particular site, great for solo travel ideas and deals. That's why I've hooked it to my website, Astrid Solo Travel. I don't think there's anything better as far as being up to date, cool, and give you ideas of how much something will cost. The last site that I want to recommend is my site, Astrid Solo Travel Advisor. The URL is very, very simple, AstridTravel.com. I just launched the site at the beginning of this year. It's still in development. It's organized in U.S. travel and international travel. We've got a lot of categories, whether it's accommodations, art and architecture, museums, shopping, food and drink, travel tips, fashion. There are a lot of different things that there's blog content about, recommendations. I have 2 other bloggers that submit content on the site. We're in development. The focus, as I've been sharing, is affordable luxury ideas for the solo traveler. And I am also in progress right now of also developing products and services, which has all been in my basically conception of this website and company. And it's coming along much faster than I thought. So I hope to launch a couple of products. I will be having my own products, travel-related items that I think are really good to help make your travel experience better, as well as recommending other people's products. And then services, we will be crafting very unique trips, either trips focused on some type of experience, whether it's a garden tour of London and having it during the Chelsea flower show, and having maybe some gardeners give lectures or whatever. But I want to create very unique trips that solo travelers can join in. It's in the works now. I'm actually talking to the Arts Council of Greater Baton Rouge. We're going to do a couple next year focused on the arts. So I'm excited about that. Also on my site, a couple of other things that I think is really good. I focus on videos, and I'm still struggling with doing good videos myself, but I believe in that because people, they don't have time to read, or they don't want to read like they used to. They read so much in their work, usually because they're on the computer, etc. They either like to listen. That's why I think these podcasts are going to be very useful to people. And they also like to see. So I'm developing the videos and have, videos, trying to put them on every week, as well as I have a section called Ask Astrid. I'm not as interactive as TripAdvisor yet, but hopefully one day I will be the biggest portal for solo travelers to post their reviews, to ask questions, to have, interaction between other solo travelers. But that's all way down the line. But I have a section called Ask Astrid. So if you want to ask me a question on where's the best place to find shoes in New York City, or whatever is important to you when you're going somewhere, ask me.
And we've teased people before that some of your best Ask Astrids might appear here on the podcast.
Oh, yeah. Well, I hope so. I hope you tune into every section. But basically, this site is in development, and I hope within the next 3 to 5 years it really it has a lot of great content, and, it's being used and useful to a lot of solo travelers. So, Catherine, I'm just going to wrap up the whole session with all of these sites I highly recommend. I've used them. I think they're all great, and they definitely will give the solo traveler what they need in order to price out, book, and conceive a really good solo trip. They're easy to use. You're going to get excellent information in price quotes. You can fully book everything, plan your trip without a travel agent, and you'd just be really prepared for a great solo experience.
Well, you have really given everybody just a great cachet of tools to use to plan. You gave us all a lot to look into so that we can have the best travel that is possible for our trip.
Well, I must say, this is my pleasure, and it's definitely my passion, so I love doing it.
That wraps up this 2-part series on research tools. We hope you got some insight on using the sites for everything they've got. Plus, we hope that you picked up all of Astrid's tips. If you like this kind of solo travel information, be sure to follow Astrid on social media and check out her website and blog, AstridTravel.com. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening to Solo Travel Talk. Follow Astrid on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. To learn more about Astrid or solo travel advisors, visit our website, AstridTravel.com.